Alrighty, so today I want to talk about the Part 2 LRs, more specifically the hidden potential builds that you should be going for on these characters. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of you who are just pulling this character and are excited to use them, or you're using a fresher account where you have dupes in them, so, you know, you're going to be using both of like the hidden potential, like, you know, the top left, bottom right, you know, all that. You're going to be able to actually get them to 79% with the gold slot, so you're going to have more options for hidden potential nodes than you usually would. And in this video, I want to talk about what type of builds that you should be going for on both of these characters. Now, it's pretty cut and dry. I think with these two, you don't really need to overthink it, but the Gammas, I think, actually are a little bit more complex than Beast Gohan is, right? Beast Gohan, I think, is pretty simple. We'll talk about his in a moment, but let's go ahead and look and break down like both of these characters, not like every little aspect of them, but at least what's important to the passive, right? So like we can kind of tell what's important for the hidden potential build, right? This is kind of like the process you have to do when you're reading the character and seeing them as you go, right? So both of these, the super attacks on the Gammas, right? Both of them are going to be greatly raising their attack and defense for one turn. So, you know, the more supers we're doing, the more defense that we're going to have. But let's go ahead and look and see at what, like, in the passive we can get rid of, or not get rid of, but we can kind of ignore in the hidden potential system, right? So the chance of performing a critical hit is 30% and launches an additional super attack up to 2 within a turn per int key sphere obtained, right? So if we get 4 int key spheres, I believe that would be a critical hit 120%. So we'd be getting a guaranteed crit, right? Now, the only issue with that is they are not an int key sphere changer, like an int orb changer. On this character, so it's like it's not always going to be that way where you're going to have 4 int key spheres or anything like that. So maybe like a little bit of crit will be important as well. This is just for the base form though, and you can see here plus an additional attack and defense plus 50%, reduces damage received by 30%, starting from the turn in which the character performs the 3rd attack. So one thing I think that we should be doing is focusing a little bit more on additional and dodge with this character, but you also want to make sure that you have crit too. And you might be asking, why should I have crit if we're not going to be, you know, dealing like the most damage with this character? But it's going to be the standby, right? Like when we get out of the standby mode with this character, we are going to be doing big boy damage with the standby, like the attack, right? If we go all out energy release right here, causes super ultimate damage and stuns the enemy for 1 turn. And you could see here, there's no guaranteed crit in here, right? This is going to be a bit of a problem, so that is why we want to have crit on this character, because with the standby, it's going to be very important. So I think that crit and dodge are the 2 biggest focuses for me when you're going to be making this character or doing the hidden potential builds. And then you also need to consider the fact that we have the exclusive orbs that we are going to be getting from the 9th anniversary battle. I forget exactly what those orbs are off the top of my head. I'd have to look at them, but I know that we are going to be getting special orbs on this character, and that's going to be very helpful because there's just not going to be a ton of stuff to think about with that, right? So it's like you can see here, this is going to be more of a defensive setup, trying to build up to the core breaker with, you know, Gamma 2, and then once we get out into Gamma 1, which is going to be after that, which is not going to be easy. It's not like you're just going to be getting this for free. You can see we have 15% damage reduction, additional key 3, all that fun stuff, more damage reduction when HP is 30% or more. That'll be pretty easy. Most of the time, like if you guys have played a lot of like the new modern content, there's a lot of just like instances where you're literally going like, you know, you think you've got everything under control and you just go from 100 to 0, right? And then with HP, and now they do become an orb changer, so that is going to be a bit helpful, but you can see here that it's nowhere near where it used to be, where its chance of performing a critical hit plus 20% up to 100% per int key sphere obtained, right? So again, the crit chance is like, it's cool, but I think having a little bit in the hidden potential build is not a bad idea, because this is not going to be like the version of the Gammas that you are using the most, right? And like I said, having the crit is going to be very important for Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 because of the standby, you know, the attack after that. The core breaker, we want to make sure that that is actually doing damage. And if we don't have crit, then it's going to be very tricky for them to actually do damage. Like that is going to be like, you know, it's going to be a big deal because if we like some of the bosses in the game right now, I'm sure some of you guys have experienced this, right? But like Trunks is in the millions on his defensive phase in the 2nd phase where he locks you, right? And then Hirudegarn, I know it's like, yeah, oh, whoa, Hirudegarn, right? But like, you have to consider that with Hirudegarn. This is a character that has like 7 million defense. So how do we work around that defense aside from just having characters that lower defense on super attack? We crit, right? Because that goes through the damage or the defense, right? So that is one thing that we're going to have to keep in mind, that I think crit is going to be something that's very important on this character, because he is not going to be getting it nearly as easy as the next character we are going to talk about. So I think with the Gammas, in my opinion, what I would focus on is crit, and then I would definitely have a little bit of dodge as well. So this is not like a 3 dodge, 5 dodge character, because they're already going to have a little bit of dodge. So maybe like 1 or 2 nodes of dodge would be something that I would do. You want to go up to like 8 or 11. That would be the best way to go about it, in my opinion. So let's move on to Beast Gohan. This character is a lot more simple to break down. There's not, 3 separate kits that we need to look at. He's just a Giga Chad across the board. What I really want you guys to focus on with Beast Gohan is going to be the additionals, right? Because this is a character that has so much defense that dodge is not going to be as important with this character. If you want to do 3 dodge or you want to do 6 dodge, like, sure. So like, when you have him at 69%, there's going to be a crit and a dodge node, right? You have to pick between the 2. In that case, I think you go with the dodge node, and then there's going to be another one up on the top left path where there's going to be a crit and dodge option. And again, you want to focus on the dodge one there. So you would in total have 6 dodge, and you are already getting 5 crit from the character being an STR unit. So that is going to kind of make an impact as well. So every other node where you can get additional, I think that's where you want to focus on this character, because let's just look at all the ways that he is getting crit just from looking at this, right? Like, there's so much to read with this character. Like, look at all of this, right? So the unit super attack, this is crit support for the rotation, but here we go. 40% chance on the intro animation, which is not restricted to anything. We have where's the extra crit chance? Right here, right? So plus an additional attack and chance of performing a critical hit plus 20%. So if he gets hit 5 times at slot 1, that's a 100% chance to crit right there. Chance of performing a critical hit plus 20%, reduces damage received by 20%. All allies keep plus 2 after the intro buff wears off. So we still have additional crit chance, right? Like, you guys can see that this character is just walking crit, right? Like, there's never really a time where this character does not have it, and he is so like well endowed, like he's so well done defensively that you don't really need to worry about dodge. I don't think it hurts to have, because you guys are going to see, like right now, this guy is soloing the game super easily, and there's not really much that can stop him. But when we get to the Tanabata fights and we get to this Goku and Frieza fight, if you were in that fight for a long time, Goku and Frieza super for over 5 million at one point. And this character, when the intro buff wears off, if he's not like built up very well, he will get caught. And it doesn't matter. Like, I know that sounds crazy to think about, but it's a thing. It can happen. And I think having 6 dodge might be the difference between you winning a fight and the difference of you losing a fight. So there you go. I think in this character set, you just want to go all in on additional, and when there's crit nodes, just go ahead and do a dodge. And then this character will also be getting exclusive skill orbs as we go. So let's go ahead and do some member shoutouts, because we have a bunch of new members on the channel, and I'll go ahead and let you guys go after that. So stick around. Alrighty, so we have 3 new members to shout out. We have a rejoining member, our boy Static, welcome back, Eric, as well as Derek. These guys are all new members to the channel. Obviously, Static has been a member before, but there you guys have it. Hidden Potential builds, shout out to the new channel members. If you guys want to become a channel member, go ahead and look at the link in the description down below. And if you also want to join the Discord, where you can get an exclusive role as a channel member, go ahead and click that link in the description as well, and let me know that you are a member. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you guys are doing for your Hidden Potential builds on Beast as well as the Gammas, and I'll see you all in the next one.